Hello, and welcome to the Chartered Accountants Global Update, Episode 40. I'm delighted you're joining us today. We have a really interesting mix of content in this episode. A conversation about a career that defies every expectation, a practical new resource for those of us working across the United Arab Emirates, and some genuinely useful guidance on how we can all communicate more inclusively in the workplace. So, let's get into it. Our first story today comes from our Difference Makers Discuss series. And this one is a real standout. The upcoming episode features Aster Thackery, a Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand member, who, when you first hear her story, makes you question every assumption you might have about what a chartered accountancy career looks like. Aster is a fourth-generation New Zealander with a Singaporean Chinese background, a law degree, a chartered accountancy qualification, an Irish husband, and a career that has taken her from London to Rome, from boardrooms to community halls. By day, she works with the Italian Trade Agency, helping international businesses understand Italy's investment landscape. That role grew directly from her earlier work with UK Trade and Investment, where she travelled the world promoting the UK as a destination for foreign investment. But here's what makes Aster's story particularly compelling. She didn't plan any of this. She followed the opportunities that her chartered accountancy qualification opened up, and it opened a lot of them. One of the things Aster talks about very directly is cultural awareness as a professional skill. She recommends a book called The Culture Map by Erin Meyer, which many of you may already know, as essential reading for anyone working internationally. And she uses a striking example, the difference between how New Zealanders and Italians operate professionally. Flat hierarchies versus nuanced ones. Directness versus diplomacy. A small shift in awareness, she says, makes a substantial difference. Then there's the community side of Aster's story, which is just as remarkable. 5 years ago, she moved to Greenwich in southeast London. She knew nobody and was expecting her second child. So she did what perhaps only a natural connector would do. She started a small coffee meetup for local parents. That group now has over 2,000 members. It's incorporated as a social enterprise, and it has given other women in the community the platform and confidence to launch initiatives of their own. There's a line from her story that I keep coming back to. She says, "People want a village, but they don't want to be a villager." It's a gentle but pointed observation about how community works and who's responsible for building it. The session with Aster takes place on the 14th of May at 6 o'clock British Summer Time. It's free and it's well worth your time. I'll say this, if you've ever wondered whether a chartered accountancy qualification can support a career that doesn't look like a traditional one, this conversation is your answer. It absolutely can. Next up, and this is a genuinely practical resource for anyone connected to the profession in the UAE, Chartered Accountants Worldwide has launched a new UAE Institute network directory. As our presence in the UAE continues to grow, the need for clearer, more connected collaboration across institutes has become increasingly important. This directory has been built specifically to address that. It brings together key contacts across the network in one accessible place, making it easier to identify the right people, whether you're looking for local insight, exploring partnership opportunities, or trying to coordinate joint activity across institutes. The aim, simply put, is to reduce duplication and enable a more joined-up approach. If you're working in or with the UAE, or if you're looking to expand your engagement in that part of the world, this is a resource worth bookmarking. And finally, something that touches on professional practice in a way that I think applies to all of us, wherever we're based and whatever stage of our career we're at. Cheryl Cooper of Grant Thornton, UK, has written a piece, originally published by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, England and Wales, which makes a really compelling case for equity, diversity and inclusion as a driver of workplace ethics, not just as a policy obligation, but as something that actively shapes how we communicate with each other at work. She recommends a 5-step approach to making our communication more inclusive. Now, the 5 steps themselves are covered in full in the article, but the underlying argument is worth pausing on. Cooper's point is that the qualities underpinning inclusive communication, respect, transparency, compassion, are also the qualities that define ethical professional conduct. In other words, this isn't a separate agenda, it's the same agenda. And when we communicate with those values front of mind, we create workplaces where people feel genuinely heard, where diverse perspectives actually make it into the room, and where teams perform better as a result. In a profession that operates globally, as ours does, that's not a soft skill, that's a core one. That's all for episode 40 of the Chartered Accountants Global Update. To recap what we covered today, Aster Thackery's remarkable story of connection, community, and a chartered accountancy career on her own terms, the new UAE Institute Network Directory, a practical tool for better collaboration across the region. And Cheryl Cooper's 5 steps to more inclusive communication, well worth reading in full. If this episode resonated with you, please do share it with a colleague, and we'll see you in the next one.